Geography. Islam conquered the bottom part. So after Byzantine came Islam, and they also had math right under the Byzantine Empire. So I think Byzantine still maintained control of the upper part of it, and the bottom part of it became Islamic. Muslim art, yeah, so that's what it is. Northern Africa, the Byzantines still maintain control of the top, probably. And also, the Golden Age had a lot of math, science, medicine. Which statement about Islamic fact rather than opinion? You don't have to know anything about that. Which achievement are most closely associated with the Golden Age of Islamic culture? Which achievements are most closely associated with the Golden Age of Islamic culture? Okay, mosques, done. Algebra, math, medicine. Okay, reading this thing, Golden Age, I think is the answer, right? No. Unique religious beliefs, intellectual achievements, 3. Which term best describes Golden Age? I was right. Okay. Golden Age of China, the Tang and Song and the Ming. So that had a bunch of different dynasties going on. The Tang and Song had gunpowder and the compass and block printing. They ask about that, and porcelain. The Ming dynasty, you gotta know about this guy Zhang He. They love him. He was a big explorer. I think he discovered the rest of Europe. I don't know, discovered by the Silk Road, which is this long road that connects Asia to Europe. So that's a critical thing. And then we talked about civil service exams in the Ming Dynasty and Confucianism. So here's the Silk Road over here, linking China to the Roman Empire, I guess, at that time, but then it became the Byzantine, and then it became the Islamic Empire. So, these cultures, this is not all strictly chronological. We're jumping around the world, and each of them had different time periods where they were, whatever. And cultural diffusion is key. Silk Road, cultural diffusion. The Tang, porcelain and block printing, we said that. Restoration of Chinese rule in Zhang He, Ming Dynasty. Zhang He, Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty, Zhang He. Expand trade with Africa and Southeast Asia. Yes. Trade along the thing. Cultural diffusion. It's not really that hard. This stuff really should be very easy. African civilizations. So you have Northern Africa and Southern Africa. In Southern Africa, there was a golden age. Not a golden age, I'm sorry. They literally discovered gold. You had Mali, Ghana, Songhay. Those are the 3, gold salt trade. And I think they were trading gold for salt. Northern Africa to Southern Africa. Mansa Musa was the leader of Mali during the Golden Age. So Mali, so you see now, this is exactly the pilgrimage. Remember how we said North Africa was Islamic? And then I think Mansa Musa traveled down to South Africa, and that's what led to the spread of Islam into South Africa. So that would make sense. Bantu migrations. I don't know what this is. It's movement of people from north to south. So it has something to do with this Mansa Musa. So the Bantu people, I don't know, maybe it doesn't, but they spread the Bantu language, iron technology, and farming techniques. So you have this gold salt trade led to a lot of communication. This whole slide is about communication between North and South Africa. And North Africa has historically been part of like the European scene with the Roman Empire. So we're talking about those ideas spreading down into Africa. Language and middle religion, 1. That's, I think, metals, right? How to deal with metals. Bantu migrations, language, but the Bantu language. Ghana and Songhay, they were trading states trading states. Western Africa, Ghana and Songhay thrived. They controlled the gold salt trade, okay? Conquered Ghana, expanded under Mansa Musa. This is Mali, right? The Mali area. Okay, Bantu, fine, we got it. Ottoman Empire, after the collapse of the Byzantine, then the Ottoman Empire took over. Now we're already in like the modern day, so we keep Constantinople is the bridge located on the Mediterranean. Which made the Ottoman? It's the Mediterranean, the basin, there you go. Which event led to the rise of power of the Ottoman Empire? 1453, the conquest of Constantinople. So that was the key area. I guess they were on the other side, then they conquered it, then they got, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, key area. Mongols were big nomadic pastoralists. They conquered so much land. They made the largest empire in all because of Genghis Khan. They used the Silk Road to help move their stuff. The stirrup, they loved horses. So this is the Mongols. And then Mongols expand across Europe because of the trade on the Silk Road. Okay. This is scarcely tested stuff. That's why we're flying through it. It's 1 question per test. So a lot of it. The ones where you see more, the ratio that you see the questions, that's the ratio of it appearing on tests. We didn't leave anything out. Feudalism. Okay, so then Europe goes into this dark ages. After the Roman Empire collapses, things get a little sticky and havoc breaks out. I think the Vikings are killing everyone that's on the streets. So these big rich people say, you know what, come live on my land. You could take care of the territory, whatever you need to do. But what you would need to do for us in return is you need to work in our land, and we would take care of you. So that's the political, land equals power. Manoralism. They live on the manor. There's the serfs. They work under them. The religion is Roman Catholic. Feudalism during the Middle Ages. So the answer is manorialism. That's a picture of a manor. Guys working at that guy's hotel. Western Europe, Middle Ages. That's when you had them. Okay. Transformation of Western Europe. So now Western Europe goes through a little havoc, really bad events that lead to really good events. I like to discuss, just for emotional, I don't know what purposes, how there's natural ups and downs in empires and times, and we live in America now during a golden age for sure. Inevitably, America will collapse, and then panic ensues in the classroom, and I explain that to them, but they don't really understand. And then, so that's understandable. Things will get very bad, then they'll get even better. So after all that progress we just made in terms of math and everything, now we get to the really dark stuff. People are living in manors, Vikings are controlling, and we'll get to another golden age. But sometimes it takes time. Thank God we live in a time of tremendous opportunity, and you should really all take advantage of that. I know you came here to study global, but I do try to spread some messages at all also. Otherwise.
See, only you could say that in class. Like, I get to
I'm not sure. You don't have to say that, but what would be the purpose of my life? You think I just want to teach you for this test? You got to credit me with a little bit higher aspirations. So anyhow, we have the Crusades. The Christians from Europe attempt to reconquer Jerusalem from the Muslims. Okay? They're encouraged by the church. They kill the Muslims. They kill the Jews. You have all kinds of savagery going on. They wanted control of the Christian holy sites, which statement accurately describes the actions of Muslims during the Crusades. Muslims defended Jews? No. Many Muslims visited Europe for the first time? No. Muslims attacked and conquered Muslims, converted to Christianity? I don't know. What's the answer?
They defended Jerusalem, no.
Oh, Jerusalem. Oh, misread. Correct. Okay, good. Black Death, okay, so then we have one bad event, and then it's like God throws on the next one with the Black Death. We need more. This is like a cleanse. You have these diseases, it's spread through the water supply, and everyone starts dying. It cleanses out the population. It ends up being a good thing because there's a decrease in workers, there's more jobs. The urban centers were hit hardest. Because, think of if there was a disease in New York, everyone would spread it to each other. Those guys get grilled. And I think, the places that have the highest high, they go lowest. Decline to feudalism, serfs fled the manors. So now this is like a big cleanse. So after Black Death, which greatest loss? Urban areas, that's cities. Which immediate result of the Black Death? Labor shortages, yes. In general, which direction did Black Death spread? Oh, so Black Deaths came from China. And spread from Asia to Europe along the Silk Road. I think I wrote that. East Asia to Europe, yeah. Blame the Chinese. Again, you got to be aware of point of view here. What was the direct result? It seems like we're very against them. Ethnocentrism. What was the direct result of the Black Death in Europe? Rate of urbanization, shortage of workers. So I don't know why they're obsessed. You would think that people died would be a choice on one of these, but they're obsessed with the worker shortages. So that's what it is. Renaissance, I think a lot of students know about. A nice time, humanism. So this is the first major shift away from religion. So I think in the Crusades, religion reached such a dizzying pinnacle where we're killing people over religion. And then here's the first step back where it's like, it's not all about religion. It's the idea of humanism. It's more about the people. You have this guy Machiavelli. All they care about is that he said the ends justify the means. The Prince, he wrote a book called, which is about how rulers could take deadly action to maintain their control and whatnot. He was most concerned with political power. This statement, being feared and loved, that's Machiavelli. It's better to be feared than loved. He's all into brutal rule. The worldview, from worldview to secular, that's the which occurrence is associated with the aspects of the Renaissance. So another Renaissance event. The answer is Galileo Galilei. So we're going to get a little bit to him, but he was the first to dispute the heliocentric idea of the universe. The heliocentric idea, is that the sun is the center of the universe. The Earth is the center of the universe, is what the church said. Now scientists start to say otherwise. This was the first point of really where you're saying that the God is wrong, basically, is how the church viewed it. A reason what the Renaissance began in Italian city-states is, I don't know what the answer to this is, honestly.
I think it's 3.
Had wealth from trade with Constantinople, yeah? What's the papacy?
The Pope, the Church.
So didn't they reject?
Okay.
So that's what I always thought the answer was. Which philosophy that was developed during the Renaissance associated shift away from religious towards humanism? Okay. The Protestant Reformation. Key. So now we starting to move away from religion, and now you have someone openly protest that the church is corrupt. This would be a preposterous idea beforehand. He wrote in his book 95 Theses that they were selling indulgences. You want teshuvah, you want to get kapara, here you got to pay up for it. Radical idea, and he was against that. Calvin was, he had this new idea, I don't know, Gutenberg. So now, how did this happen? Why now is the question always asked. There must have been someone who before. So first of all, the environment was anti-religion. That was helpful to the cause. Also, they invented the printing press. Now I could promulgate my ideas and spread them through the written word, and that allowed him to, gain. Now, and one other key event, Henry VI, Act of Supremacy. The king wants to get divorced. The church won't let him. So now you have the perfect storm where all the events come together for this big rejection, and now we move from Catholicism to Protestant. Challenged the authority of the Catholic Church is number one. Number three, that's choice three, which is a direct challenge to the political and religious authority of the Catholic Church. The passage of the Act of Supremacy under Henry VI. Yeah, one result of the Protestant Reformation was a decline in religious unity. Gutenberg, Calvin, those are all Protestant Reformation. Which check out most directly the Protestant Reformation printing press. This could be an essay. Oh, not that I had a dream, Martin Luther. Critical. I think they really think it's the same guy.
Oh, yeah.
No joke. They definitely do. The Americas. Okay, so now backtrack, rewind. We're going to start telling you about the Americas. Now, why do we learn about the Americas at this point in time? Because the history is clearly told through a European perspective, because most of the people that are in America now are European. So now that America becomes relevant to Europe with the discovery of Columbus, it's time to go back to the beginning and talk about the pre-Columbian civilizations. The Mayas, the Aztecs, and the Index, same as the River Valleys, very organized, developed, advanced civilizations. They like to praise them a lot to show like we did a very bad thing. Don't say that they were savages. They had great infrastructure. Okay, fine. So you could see their agenda a bit. Mayas, they had math too. Who discovered? I always think I invent formulas, and then they tell me, oh, it exists already. Yeah, but I didn't see it. So very similar here. I don't know who invented it first, Mayas or Gupta Zero. They didn't see each other. They both invented it. So I also invented the probability formula. The Aztecs, at least with Rochelle here, I really know my jokes. I don't get a laugh from anything. She burst. The Aztecs. I invent a lot of formulas, I'll have you know. The Aztecs, fine. The Incas, all right. Aztecs and Incas used terrace farming. So we talked about irrigation systems. We're all the way back to where we were. Aztecs terraced the land. One, they cut out steps in the land. If you ever went on an Israel tour, they show you that. How they cut out the steps. Which statement best? Everyone thinks they invented that also. Which statement best describes Aztec civilizations? Not nomadic. Don't say that. Not at all. Advanced agricultural practice supported large urban centers. They had cities. Don't portray them as how you would see it in Pocahontas. What is the best title for the graphic organizer? Zero, urban centers, glyphs. So this is Maya. Okay. So now they call this the encounter when Europe encounters North America. So why now? Europeans want access to spices in Asia. They figure they just discovered that the world is round. They go, we'll travel around the back end instead of using this treacherous Silk Road where we got to travel by horse for ages. We'll do it by boat. Maybe they didn't have control of the Silk Road. That's probably what it was. It was probably whoever, it was Spain, right? They probably didn't have control of the Silk Road. They were all the way up against the Atlantic. So Europeans wanted to find routes to Asia, and also they had technology now, compass, actual. So again, if it's a technology essay, I love to write about the compass, and you could say what was the impact? The destruction of the Native America, the Mayas, the Incas, the Aztecs, their culture, the introduction of the Americas. Now it's all about cause and effect. So if you see we're telling history chronologically, whenever you write an essay, you pick that slide, you start with the slide before it, you talk about that slide, and then you talk about the next slides. So you're always tying what led to it, that's one paragraph. The event itself, second paragraph. Then what it caused. Always 3 paragraphs per topic. So that would be if you had to do about, and again, you go nuts, because then what you could do is you manipulate the essay. We'll talk about this in the essay lesson to be about what you know about. Like, I know about America. I don't know anything about a compass. Not the geometry compass. Columbus, Marco Polo, Ibn Battuta, Spanish explorers. That wasn't as funny of a joke. Rochelle's booing. Spanish, I didn't think it was funny either. Led the exploration to America in hopes of finding a new route to Asia. Okay. One reason Spain sponsored Columbus, direct route to Asia. 1492 was a turning point. That's what Columbus did his thing. The answer is What's the answer?
Which one?
Number 2.
I got 1.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. The writing boats Marco Polo and Ibn Battuta, those are trade guides. Which technological development enabled Europeans to determine the location during the age of exploration? The astrolabe. I guess that's the effects of the age of exploration destroyed the Native American civilization. It's called the encounter. The encomienda system. Oh, they love this. If you were to say, you include this word. It's basically where you're forced to work on our plantations, give us the stuff, and we won't kill you, or something like that. Mercantilism is the mindset that leads to that system where the colonies exist for the mother country. Right, so we're going to learn a lot about colonies. These were some of the earlier colonies. You exist to feed us. We'll let you live, but you're like basically slaves. So that's what was going on. And encomienda is that's a Spanish word. And by the way, if you ever thought, why do they talk Spanish in Mexico? It's because of this. Because the Spanish people ended up in not only North America, also in South America and Mexico. And triangular trade. That's the trade between Europeans, Africa. You know, they're capturing the slaves from Africa, sending them to North America, sending stuff back. They also Columbian exchange, cultural diffusion. So items sent from Europe to America: wheat, sugar, bananas, and items sent from America to Europe: maize, corn. I don't know if you have to memorize this list. There's one question where they get really gritty with this, though. So this is a very heavily topic. They ask about this. The encounter, Atlantic. Oh, that was me coming up clutch with that Atlantic before. Our ocean that we live, that's called the Atlantic Ocean. Which situation was an immediate cause of collapse of the Aztec civilization? Conquest by foreigners. That's us. In colonial Spanish America, which system was developed? The encomienda system. Which policy is used to regulate its colonies? Mercantilism. Why is Catholicism a major religion in Latin America? Cultural diffusion, right? Traditional beliefs of Africans. Is that what the answer is? Spain conquered. Oh, 1. Between 1500 and 1750, which commercial products were produced on Latin American plantations using enslaved laborers? I don't know. What's the answer to this one?
1.
One.
They
Corn
tricky
and
with tobacco.
squash.
They also made, but they didn't do sugar.
Sugar they had to send from Europe. Okay. Which country is responsible for extensive colonial use of the encomienda system? Spain. The Columbian exchange, mercantilism. All right. Which idea is closely associated with mercantilism? 1. Colonies exist to provide. The term mercantilism. Okay. We notice a pattern. They love. I mean, they're going to ask you this. So, 1. Economic policy in which colonial powers controls trade. Yes. Okay. Travelers, these are a bunch of travelers. Marco Polo, he traveled to China over the Silk Road. Ibn Battuta, we said him. Zhang Qi, we talked about him. He used the Silk Road too. A Chinese explorer, Ming Dynasty. They wrote about their travels, made contact with other people. I don't know what this picture is here. Based on the 13th century, which of these circuits was limited to one continent? I don't know. All right. It's 1. 1 is just limited, right? It's just on, okay. Information implies that trade made these regions interdependent. They're not independent, they're interdependent. Increase in trade and commerce that occurred during the late Middle Ages in Europe resulted in increase in trade during the late Middle Ages, lower than no. Increase in number of self-sufficient manners, is that no? That trade is not self-sufficient. Decline in rivalries, development of more towns and cities. What's the answer? I don't know.
I did 2.
2?
Makes no sense.
Okay. Trade along the Silk Road on the Trans-Saharan trade route thing in cultural diffusion. Okay, so trade leads to cultural diffusion. Part 2. All right, we're flying along. How long has it been? It's been an hour, a little less than an hour. All right, so we'll keep trying to plow along. Let's take a pause. Maybe we'll take a pause. It's only been